Welcome to the Six Again podcast, your new destination for all things NRL. Here to bring you everything from team news to best bets are your hosts Adam Hoy and Jared Newton. Let's kick off.
All right, welcome into the round 5 wrap of Six Again, everybody. So we're doing something kind of new. We're finishing off our round 5 wrap while we're actually watching the Bulldogs and Roosters game, or Roosters training run. It's horrible at the moment, with 8 minutes still to go in the first half for the Roosters. So we'll keep updated on that as we go through. But lots to discuss with the other 7 games. And so I'm Adam.
Hey guys, I'm Jared.
Jared's got his house to himself for a night, I guess, even though they're
probably another 2 hours at this point.
Hour
and a half, maybe. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
That's good. So he's we made the decision yesterday to do everything tonight. It'll be a late one, but it'll be worth getting it all done in one. So a few talking points to go over before we get into the games. How about we start with kind of just like some random headlines, and then we'll get into some of the juicy sort of discussion topics. What do you reckon?
Sounds good.
A politician said something that people listened to this week.
Holy shit.
I know. I think New South Wales Premier backing up from the Prime Minister saying that crowds of outdoor ticketed events, such as football, can hold 25% of a stadium's capacity starting July 1. So,
wow.
Yeah, that's going to be huge. So, I think Bank West has a capacity of, 40,000?
Yeah, so it's looking like
10,000.
Most people probably have, 5 to 10,000 at their stadium, which is really good. Unfortunately, it's going to get rid of all that crowd noise that we've come to love, or maybe not.
I reckon they just keep it.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to say, like, how good or how up to speed are the people controlling that? Because they're like, oh, and cheer and boo. It's just like on point.
Sometimes they're well and truly off, though. Sometimes,
but
sometimes there's a scrum down and they're acting.
The majority of times they're pretty good. Oh, they could have just gone, because Bulldogs like put 4 passes together.
Yeah, no, they bet Nelly score a try too. Adam's about 30 seconds behind
30
me.
Seconds. Yeah, I've got 2 laptops plus one's running Foxtel Go, one's running Zoom. Yeah, it's struggling at the moment. This is our slowest time of the night, so well planned. So that'll be cool, having some people back in. It's nice to see about 500 people. I think teams have been putting ballots out for their members to be allowed to come in this week.
Which is good. They're putting it out to members, not just randoms.
Yeah. So that's been good to see some people in the stands. Other little tidbits. Hasn't been a great couple of weeks for Australian Rugby League legends. We had the passing of Arthur Summons, and West Tigers got to do a shout. They had a beautiful what's the word I'm looking for? Tribute with a big curtain flag sort of thing that they had with his face on it, and they had a moment's silence, and that was a really nice touch they did down at the Campbelltown Stadium when they took on the Raiders. And we found yesterday Noel Kelly, NRL Hall of Famer, passed away at the age of 84. He's also in the NRL team of the century, played for Western Suburbs Magpies. Couple of stats I looked up, and I think one of these will kind of stand out more than the others. Represented Australia 28 times over 3 Brood tours, and that's a lot. Like playing in the 50s, that's a hell of a number of times we're playing for the Kangaroos.
But back then they also played a lot more games on tour than they do now as well. Not taking anything away from him, but they used to play a lot of warm-up games and this, that, and the other when they're on tour, which is.
And going to the other side of the world in the 50s is different to now, and he did that over 3 tours, which is no mean feat. He also, once he retired, he was an ambassador for the Men of League, Foundation, a board member of the NRL. But I think this is my favourite stat. As a forward, he was sent off 17 times in his career. And he's one of the respected and toughest players that have ever played the game. Just remembering that was back in the time where scrums was kind of like your settling tool on the field, we'll say.
Look, that's back in the time.
Times. Bloody hell.
That's back in the time when you had to practically kill someone to get sent off.
That's
wasn't like John Hopewade.
No.
Yeah, it's not like John Hopewade where you fingered someone to get sent off. It's like legitimately he would have had to hurt someone.
And for overseas fans, if you're wondering what Jared was just talking about, be very careful what you type into Google when you put in John Hopewade, okay?
Oh, no, don't be careful. Just type in John Hopewade and it'll come up, I promise you.
Yeah. Way to taint poor Noel Kelly's memory, or as he was affectionately known.
Was that pun intended then?
No. It wasn't. What did I do? I missed it. I missed my own pun. It wasn't very punny. My bad. Paint. So, another thing that we've seen this week was the pre-game players taking a kneel before their games, especially the two teams together. And I think it's a good show of solidarity by the clubs. And from what the players have said, it's been the players' decision to do it. The club hasn't been putting pressure on anyone to do so. It's been the players' choice. And some people have been really kind of against it online, which has been a bit bemusing. A couple of people have even said, I love this on the Penrith Panthers Twitter feed. One dad said, I've rescinded myself and my son's memberships. I don't want to support a club representing social propaganda and a political agenda or something. And I think every comment after that was, all right, see you, mate.
Yeah.
And Penrith, I think Penrith actually said,
see you later or something
see you later with a little waving hand. Like,
yeah.
If that's your opinion, I think you're completely misjudging what's going on overseas. And we talked about it, that Australian Aboriginal players and even Polynesian and Maori players, it's sort of stuff that they've had to encounter on a day-to-day basis in their lives. So it's nice to see that even though we're on the other side of the world, we're supporting, the players are supporting, the plight that's going on overseas. So it's been a nice little touch, I think, to see. And I think the media's done a good job not blowing it up, mentioning it for what it is.
Yeah.
We don't usually give the media much kudos, so that's a kind of nice thing. There's been whispers of Eddie Jones, exit Wallabies coach, present England rugby union coach, coming to coach in the NRL once his deal expires, perhaps looking at the Sharks job that would be vacant by that stage, which is a bit of an interesting whisper. And also Michael Checker, who's currently working with the Roosters, I believe. Not surprised at all. Can you imagine a couple of ex-Wallabies coaches coaching the NRL?
I reckon it'd be super interesting, just to see what they bring to the game, especially Eddie Jones. He's always had a different, He always had a different way of looking at union. He turned around England. England looked a lot better when he was coaching them, so it's going to be really.
Japan.
So
he did the same for Japan. He coached Japanese team because he was the coach when the Cherry Blossoms upset South Africa at the previous World Cup.
Yeah, so I would love it to happen.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool.
I don't know how much success they've had. Anyone could be. Look, right now, the Dragons should be doing a lot better than they are now with the team they have. So maybe Eddie Jones can bring something in different, and I reckon he'd be really good for Sean Johnson. I reckon he'd be fantastic. Yeah, really good for him. So we'll see what happens there.
And Michael Checker grew up on rugby league. He actually went to rugby union a bit later on. So he grew up kind of coaching and playing league. So he's got I think a bit more of the background knowledge. And he always said he continued to watch it. And you look at how many league players have gone over. Yeah, I definitely think it could be. So it'd be a lot more successful, I think, coming from union to league than going from league to union with regards to coaching.
Yeah.
All right, I think, and I guess, so we're going to touch on some of these as we go through the games, but over the weekend so far, there hasn't been one yet in this game, there's been 7 obstruction try decisions set up to the bunker, and there's been talk about it again. The two most notable was the non-try for Brisbane Broncos against Manly, where Daly Cherry-Evans was, according to the rulebook, obstructed, and then the Melbourne getting a penalty for Dale Finucane being taken out of play by David Clever. They've come out since the NRL and said that should not have been a penalty. It's pretty clear watching it shouldn't have been a penalty, but that was the last turning point in that game, and then from there Melbourne ran away from it when it was a much tighter game than that at that stage. Now, I do like what the NRL have done. Jared Maxwell, I think he's the chairman of the referees or manager of the referees committee, did come out and say that in 2018, so not too long ago, when Graham Annesley became head of football, he came in with the idea that they should get rid of the not allowing a sweep runner to catch the ball on the inside. He said that you should be able to and run behind the player, and also that there's no differential between inside and outside shoulder in a blocking play. Now, he took that to some of the coaches, notable ones being Trent Robinson, Bellamy and Hasler, and they've all said, look, if you do that, honestly, we'll start putting blockers in, we'll have extra runners, it'll be more like an NFL run, knowing that they're not going to get penalised for taking runners out, and it just turned into an absolute
shit
fight. So it stayed as it was, and as Jared mentioned before show, back in 2018, that's when we were getting tries disallowed for obstruction all over the place. Every block play was an obstruction.
Yeah.
That's what they brought in. Right now, it's black and white. You hit the outside shoulder, it'll be a no try. You hit the inside shoulder, it will be a try. And what that doesn't allow for is common sense, but at least it's black and white and consistent. Oh, I think that's all the random little tidbits. I keep saying tidbits. Bloody hell.
Yeah, no. It's... I don't think you're ever going to get the obstruction rule right, ever. Just because every time they've tried, some coach, and I'm not complaining about it, some coaches come up with a way to exploit it every single time. The only way to do it is to completely get rid of the block play. But that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
I don't. Yeah, there's nothing going to be there's never going to be an easy fix to that obstruction. It is what it is. You just got to take it on a case by case basis. For me.
Yeah, and the shitty thing about that though, like it rewards because the defense knows what will and what won't be a try. If you even half make an action and get on the outside shoulder of the runner, place the runner so they're hitting your outside shoulder regardless, as Cherry Evans did, as I think Ben Hunt also did. It rewards the defense for a bad read, which sucks because the attacks put them in a position to make a bad decision. They should get rewarded, but according to the rule book...
Like I said, I guarantee there's training that... They train that at training.
Yeah.
To do that, to manipulate. And if they change the rule to the opposite, they train the opposite. So there's no way... And you can't blame the coaches because everyone else will be doing it. Why not you? So
exactly.
It is what it
is.
is.
And the end of the game is they need to win. So they're going to continue to do so. If anyone out there's got any better ideas of how to negate that, please let the NRL know because we'd probably...
I was going to say, don't ring us up.
Don't ring us up. Ring up the NRL and then also try and get us some more interviews. That'd be awesome. All right, so judiciary that we know of so far. Congratulations, Russell Packer. Your comeback lasted 2 games, I think.
He's never going back.
two matches on the sideline for a careless high tackle. Corey Norman's facing a fine for his tripping offence. Tom Gilbert, 3-week ban for dangerous contact. So another one out for the Cowboys. They're going to be struggling to field a 17, I think, by this rate next week. Pawasa Vasili and Jack Murchie, so two of the loanees. Sorry, Murchie's now a permanent sign, but can both escape suspensions with early pleas for the Warriors. Kane Evans has a 1-game ban, and Danny Levi can avoid suspension with an early plea. So the only ones we know guaranteed so far are Paco Evans and Tom Gilbert will be facing time on the sidelines. Injuries. This is where Cowboys are going to hurt. They've already got Michael Morgan out. They're losing Valentine Holmes to an ankle injury for at least a week. Jordan McLean is out at least a week with a lower grade calf strain. So that's a couple of big blows to the Cowboys. Kurt Catewell was looking pretty good for Penrith. He's out 10 weeks.
That's going to be a massive loss.
That's a big one. With grade 3 medial. And they lost him early in the game against Parramatta. And with how close that game is, he could have definitely been a difference maker.
Oh, yeah.
Tony Staggs back from his suspensions, looking at some time off. He pulled up lame at training with a hamstring complaint. Still waiting on scans, but looks like he will miss some time. That goes with Jesse Arthur's out 4 to 6 weeks with a tibial fracture as well. So Broncos with some more selection headaches in their back line. Luciano Leilua, ankle ligament sprain, looking at 1 week on the sidelines. I knew I jinxed it. I said Manly haven't gone this long without injuries. I even touch wood. But within 1 week, George Tafua, quad complaint, missed the game against the Broncos. Not looking like returning to around 7. At least another week out. Martin Tapau dislocated his thumb against the Broncos. They couldn't get back in. So he missed that game. They're going to give him every chance to play this weekend. Curtis Sirinen was out with bone bruising. Going to give him every chance. Moses Sully has a fractured finger. He's out 1 to 3 weeks after having surgery. So you've got Tafua, Sully, Sirinen, and Tapau for Manly. I think that's all the injuries. All the ones that have been updated. Nothing so far, it looks as though, out of this game at halftime.
No.
All right. And the last one before we get into the games is signing news. You want to do this one, Jared?
Well, it looks like Luke Thompson is coming out from England for the Bulldogs.
Yep.
He has to go in 2 weeks of isolation, which, when you think about Bulldogs forward pack, it's going to look pretty good with him and Napa up front. And then you got your back row.
Do you want to give some background info on Luke Thompson for those who in Australia know him?
He's super fit.
That always helps.
Yeah, he's super fit. They reckon he can play 80. They don't know how he'll go in the NRL, but we'll find out in the first game. He's not overly tall, but he's a built guy, and he's only 23.
And who is he playing for in England?
I'm pretty sure he was a Wigan boy. Or do you want to know who is he playing for?
St. Helens.
St. Helens. All right, so he's already won a premiership over there. There's a thing going around that he is currently the best prop in the world. So we'll see how we go facing up with some of the props running around the rugby league. But and the biggest thing there would be week in, week out. So in England, they kind of get some weeks off against some lower teams. So we'll see how we go week in, week out.
Yeah, what Jared means by that, not weeks off as in not playing, as in the quality of the NRL, the mid-table teams' quality is higher than the mid-table quality in the Super League, where you're pretty heavy up top with your big teams.
Yeah. And then I think the big one is Corey Thompson's going to Gold Coast.
Yes, immediately.
That is a massive signing for them. He brings energy, he brings speed, he's pretty safe reasonably safe under the high ball.
He brings another guy for their back line.
Yeah, but right now with Brimson out, he's probably their best option at fullback.
Ooh, I'd say Sammy still.
Yeah, but I reckon he'll slot straight in there.
Has said that Sammy's a winger, but he's been looking pretty damn good at fullback.
Yeah, I think that's it for signings.
To the Broncos, which I don't understand whatsoever.
Oh, that is ridiculous. They're going to bring him in as a leader. He is no leader. And then you got your mate, Joel
sorry. I
Thompson.
was just going to say, I'm just more surprised. Like, you've got McCulloch, who's been there his entire career, and you let him go, a veteran, a leader, who knows the club inside and out. You let him go, and then 3 weeks later you sign another veteran the rest of the season because you're saying you leadership. And you're like, you just gave away.
For some reason, they thought that Turpin was going to not get injured somehow. I don't know. Like, I know you don't plan for injury. No, what's the word? You don't hope for injuries, but you bloody plan for them.
Plan for them. Well, I don't see it as as a bad sign. Like, Isaac Luke can definitely get the go forward they need in areas, but it's just confusing why you'd let McCulloch go if you're just going to go out and do this later on.
It's pretty much letting them making them look like they got egg on their mouth. And the biggest one is your mate.
Joel Thompson.
Joel Thompson's going to St. Helens?
Yeah, so it's a Thompson in and a Thompson out. It's pretty much what St. Helens are doing. Now, previously at the end of last season, Joel Thompson's contract was up and it looked like he was already going to England. He had a deal lined up with Hull. He signed a 2-year cut price deal to stay at Manly because he loved the culture and what Hazard brought there. It's a shame to see him go. He's been awesome for us on a lower price deal. He's going to play out the rest of this season, then pick up with St. Helens next year. And if you're going to go over to England to play, St. Helens is a damn good club to be playing for.
Do you guys have any young second rows coming through, or do you reckon you'll buy someone?
Oh, no, we've got a whole bunch of young ones. Like, you look at our bench this year with Kepi, Goskowski, you've got Paseka, you've got Tafoa Sifley, who hasn't been playing, Morgan Boyle. Most of them can play prop as well. You've also got, I can never pronounce his name, the Man Mountain. Oh, Jesus. I'd have to bring up the name.
Because I'm trying to go through a potential second row as they're off contract.
We're not a lot of money because Thompson wasn't on a lot. So I wouldn't be surprised if they
saying that too.
Elsewhere.
You might get Guerra for cheap.
Yeah, I've got no worries with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. He'd bring a lot to your team. He wouldn't be the whole runner like Thompson, but he's pretty professional in what he does, so he might be a good option for you.
I think Thompson's also a big loss just for the league in general because he's on the Rugby League's Player Association. He heads up a mental health awareness campaign. He's very big with the Indigenous boys. He was captain of the Indigenous All-Stars. So he's a big personality to lose from Rugby League. NRL, not Rugby League, at the end of the season. So... yeah, we had a Corey Thompson, a Luke Thompson, and a Joel Thompson all moving in a week. You got the Sharks have picked up Nene McDonald, who was released by the Cowboys last year, hasn't played any NRL this year, and Bryson Goodwin's also going to the Sharks. They're both immediate, so they're there right now. And then
that's super funny.
I know. The Souths have re-signed Jackson Paulo and Lachlan Elias to the end of 2022. So they're two of their up-and-coming talents, and they've re-signed them. So... pretty busy with regards to signings, actually, and it's
only going to get worse.
Yes, it's only going to get worse as we keep going along. Bring on free agency.
No.
Yeah, that'd be so. Just a period of time where you can just go, boom, you've got to be signed by this, and that's it. Boom, done. And just on the Luke Thompson thing, coming out from UK and Joel going to the UK, can we just do a shout out to our new UK listeners? Now, our podcast platform allows us to see where our listeners are from all over the world. And at the moment, the percentage of our overall listeners who come from the United Kingdom is 8%. So that's pretty cool. You're actually beating the United States and New Zealand. So thank you, United Kingdom. And that's Wales and England. So out of England, we've got new listeners in the following, I believe, counties is the right word.
I wouldn't have a clue. You've been
on
there,
Trent, Thornton, London, Walthamstow, Bury, Newark-on-Trent, and Stafford, Bradford, Preston, and Southall. So thank you to our UK listeners. Hoping you're enjoying what's going on. Hoping you're enjoying all the NRL you're able to be watching at the moment. And yeah, thanks for the support. And then the Newport and Brigand people from Wales. So welcome to the 6 Again pod. Now let's actually get down to what a round wrap is about, and actually talking about the games from round 5, starting with Thursday night's game, which was Manly and the Broncos.
This is all you, mate.
I feel like I've been talking a lot already.
Yeah, but what do you reckon about the game then?
Oh, I reckon that my phone was going off for the whole first half from all my Broncos mates, and then my phone went quiet in the second half. Pretty hard to watch. Well, I talked about this in the pod, the round 5 preview, where I hate being the team who comes up against a team after they've been belted, not just on the field, but by the media through the week. Broncos are horrible against the Roosters. They got pounded in the media as they should have. They're a very proud club and they're under fire, and they came out playing like they've got nothing to lose and still a bit to prove. And they ran out to an 18-0 lead. Peppering Tavita Funa, who was on debut for George Tafua, putting the ball up for Xavier Coates, who looks pretty damn good under the high ball. Created a try, scored a try. Pretty easy block play, bad Cherry Evans read, Darius Boyd goes in. Manly score up the other end, and then the controversy of Darius Boyd's second try being disallowed because Cherry Evans was obstructed. Now, common sense to every rugby league fan out there, that was a try, and this is coming from a Manly supporter. That was a definite try to Darius Boyd.
Oh, that was painful.
Huh? I know. To say 1, Broncos, and B, Darius Boyd's painful enough. But Cherry Evans did what every other player would do in that situation. He took the contact. He milked it for what it's worth. He knows the rule book, and Manly got away with a bad defensive read, and Broncos missed out on a try from a good backline move. But that's the laws of the game that we were talking about previously. To make matters worse for Brisbane, in the second half, Cherry Evans scored an absolutely beautiful try off a set where they used Tom Trebojevic as an obstruction. It was class. Like, it was one of those tries that was that easy. You thought something must have been illegal. You look back on it. Joel Thompson was the dummy runner. He hit Brodie Croft on the inside shoulder, and therefore it was a try. But it was really nice to watch. And then, so Cherry Evans has come out and said it was good character and everything to come back from a deficit. That's 2 weeks in a row where they've been down 18-0. They came back against Parramatta. They came back against the Broncos and got the win this time, but they can't afford to be doing that every week. Broncos played with a lot more heart, a lot more character. They played with energy in the first half. But when you've got such a young, talented, inexperienced team, you're going to have fluctuations in momentum, and that's what happened. Manly just ran over him in the second half, and Broncos didn't score a point where Manly scored, missing the kick, 16. Sorry, 14.
So,
what second half?
I think you done well in saying that with all the bullshit that happened with the Broncos in the last week.
Sorry, no, second half,
the week before this game, all the bullshit that happened with their past players ripping them and saying they don't have no heart. They came up against a Manly team that would be considered well ahead of them at the time, just because of the quality of performance they pulled out. And I will admit Manly didn't play well, but Broncos really changed their effort considering what they went through the week before. So they didn't get the win, but still good on them.
And that's after, I think Brodie Croft's first involvement was kicking out on the full.
Yeah, so they didn't just talk what they were going to do. They actually, backed up what they said. They actually played well with a bit of heart behind them. The second half wasn't ideal. But you got to admit, what happened on Thursday night, I have not seen Gordon Tallis say a thing for the last 5 days. So they shut all the players up. That's what annoyed me about the whole situation. Why do the ex-players have to come out and say, this back your club kind of thing? But, good on Broncos. Manly's got to really start picking up on their first half.
Oh, yeah.
You kind of sort that out somewhere. And you can't keep doing that. You cannot do it.
So, in that game, you have a look at so Manly lost to Fua and Sirinen in the lead-up. They then lost to Powell to a dislocated finger early. Moses Sully came out with a broken finger, so they lose those guys. But I think Ruben Garrick needs to be working on his kicking. He's still he kicked 4 out of 5 over the night. Still got 2 penalty goals, 2 conversions. But he doesn't look confident like he did last year. I think he's got a bit of work there to do. And a shout out to Patrick Carrigan, man. He's looked good every game. He's putting it in for the Broncos. So, but other thing Jared and I said, Manly's looking like a top 8 side overall. And these are the games that your top teams win. When an underdog comes out throwing everything against them, but the better team, well, not the better team, the higher quality team finds a way to win games like this. You compare that kind of to the next game we're going to talk about with the Cowboys and the Warriors. And there's a bit of a difference there with coming back and kind of, I guess, when you're not on your game, still finding a way to win. So Manly will take the points, but they were no means impressive. And Broncos with a lot of improvement, but still a long way to go, you would say.
Yeah. This next game, it was a horrible game. I
was just going to say, so that takes Manly to 3-2.
Yeah, okay.
Broncos drop to 2-3.
Yeah. So, and when you think about it, Broncos and Manly had the same same win-loss ratio going into this game.
Yeah.
Okay, Warriors, Cowboys.
I got to say, this was a damn fun game to watch.
Yeah, but it wasn't a quality game. Nick Arima finally earned his paycheck. I think that's the best thing to say out of that one. He played really well. His attack was on fire, which you don't really see from him. He's very hot and cold, but he done really well this game. I don't think North Queensland knew what hit him. But in saying that too, Warriors, I swear to God, are the worst team to tip. Like 1 week they get scored off, no points. The week after they score nearly 40. Then the week after that they bloody kept the other team to 0. It's just where are they?
It's the Warriors.
Oh man, it's typical. But yeah, so good on Warriors for having to win. I didn't actually get to watch this game, but from what I understand, it was just the Cody Nicarima show, and there's not that
Peter
much.
Peter Hicko picked up a hat trick, as well as kind of gifting the Cowboys their first try, where he didn't clear the ball in the in goal. Sorry, not the first try, second try, and Kyle Feldt came around and finished that one off. Cowboys kind of lost Valentine Holmes after a period of play with a strapped up ankle. He did then play on a bit more. Alicia Katoa for the Warriors continues to play well with another try. Carl Launton getting on the scoreboard late. But this is a Warriors game that they kind of continued to play through the full 80, and they had to. Just because the Cowboys kept coming back and scoring. Kyle Feldt was brilliant again, another double. He's up to 6 tries, I think, in 5 games this season, as well as 3 conversions. And then bloody SN Masters getting sin bin in the 79th minute, holding back Katoa, who probably would have scored a second try. Killed me in fantasy. Did nothing all and then sin bin in the last minute. Paul Green's got some stuff to work out, eh?
Yeah,
They gave Habitao Fidao his debut, and he looked damn good. He's actually in contention for the fullback spot next week.
That's a big call if they do.
With Holmes out, and Drinkwater's at 5'8", and you can't bring Morgan back at 5'8" yet. So.
Yeah, I think his biggest point of contention is in the halves, because his backline's well and truly set. Maybe they're not the best players in the world, but like with, for example, O'Neill, probably isn't the best centre in the world, but there's no one really pushing through for a centre spot. But it's in the halves.
And Ben Hampton are pretty much
So, and then in the halves is biggest thing with Clifford and Drinkwater. Like Drinkwater's got so much talent. What do? Like, do you bring Drinkwater on as a utility? when Morgan comes back, or do you drop down Clifford? Oh no, sorry. Who was the other one? Do you drop down Clifford? You drop down Clifford to the utility, or you drop down Drinkwater to the utility? Because
neither.
And then you got what do you do when Morgan comes back? Because out of the...
I thought you were saying for next week. When Morgan...
No. I'm saying for their best team, because look, Drinkwater and Hampton are probably the best utilities you got in the team. So does that mean you just get rid of Clifford at all? Because one of them...
I think you will, because if you're going to go utility, you'd have Hampton on the bench with Morgan and Drinkwater in the halves and Holmes at fullback. But the other side of it is Jake Granville wasn't in this 17 at all. Reece Robson was the only hooker picked, and he did plenty enough to keep his position. He was outstanding. He, and I'd say one thing that was most impressive about this, I think the Warriors were the first team to keep Tamalolo to under 100 metres. Running up until at least I'm just having a look here whether he actually did make it to 100 metres, Tamalolo. I don't think he actually did. He only played 63 minutes. He was coming back from his bruising.
No, I think he just got over it.
Yeah, because I'm looking at most run meters for the Cowboys was Maguire at 177, and it's usually Tamalolo leading that quite comfortably.
So he got 137 metres.
Okay, so that's the smallest number for Tamalolo in quite a long time. Although he did make quite a few tackles, which he isn't.
Well, there you go.
Because their top tackler with 53, so that's still a big performance for any player. Now with the Warriors, 5 games, 5 different starting lineups. I do believe there's a chance of Fusatua being available and Mamalo being available next week. So it's what are they sitting at, 2 and 3 at the moment? So they're doing damn good already. Now,
Warriors are just so strange. I can't get my head around them. I really can't. I don't know how to pick them, where to pick them, what to do with them. They're
well, like when you tip a 3-sided coin for win, loss, and draw,
I really hope that Kearney's smart enough not to put Fusatua in the centres. I really do.
Yeah, I don't care what the player says. You put them where you believe their best position is because you're the coach.
Yeah, and his best position is 100% wing. So
So the match of the round was the second game on Friday night. We mentioned leading into this last week, it's the first time that we can remember both Parramatta and Penrith at full strength, playing well. Dylan Edwards didn't end up playing for Penrith. Caleb Aikens ended up keeping his back, but
he done pretty good.
Yeah, he did. But this game was just brutal.
It was
to watch. The pace that it was played at, the hits that were on. Bloody Nathan Brown and who was that prop on prop tackle?
Someone on Regan Campbell-Gillard.
Yeah, no, it was Regan Campbell-Gillard did the tackle on. Parramatta did the dropout. Who was that? Oh man, it was prop on prop. It was freaking.
No, was it? Oh, what do you mean? Was it? No, it wasn't.
There was another one there as well. The other way around.
Yeah.
Edivano.
Yeah, I can't remember.
No, sorry, it's James Fisher-Harris. Fisher-Harris got did by
Campbell-Gillard.
It was Campbell-Gillard.
No.
It was awesome, man. Like their contest all night. Campbell-Gillard up against his old team. Same with Wanga Blake, who had a blinder.
Yeah,
this was just a high quality game.
This game was for me, I actually thought the better team overall lost. To be honest, I thought Penrith were the better team as an actual team. But for me, that's a compliment to Parramatta because as we talked about earlier, they actually find a way to win, even though you're probably not the best team in the field right then. Like I thought, as far as I thought Cleary was amazing first week back.
Yeah, he looked good.
I just thought Penrith I just thought they played a lot better. And when you think about it, Parramatta won by two freakishly talented tries by Wonga Blake. That's how they got ahead. It was individual brilliance by Wonga Blake. It wasn't a team effort to get over the line. I thought it was just, and I'm not taking anything away from Parramatta because, like I said, they found a way to win, even though they probably weren't the better team on the field. And the margin was very, very small, but I just thought Penrith overall probably a little bit better. But it was probably the best game all year as far as I'm concerned. The quality of it was really, really good. Parramatta are going to have a test this weekend. They're up against the Roosters. I reckon that's going to be probably eclipse this game. But Parramatta, I don't know how they're going to go against them. But right now they're a form team to competition. They're going to be hard to beat no matter what.
And that was one of the contentious points, I guess, of this Bulldogs-Roosters game getting moved to Monday, in that I think they're meant to play Thursday.
No, Saturday night.
Saturday. Oh, yeah, that's right. Parramatta had 3 extra days of, the Bulldogs going to score? Nope.
No.
Taking too long to pass the ball and Tedesco saved the try. And, I've not given Penrith the kudos so far this season based on the teams that they've beaten. This is the first real big test. I know they did beat the Roosters in round 1. If you were ever going to play the Roosters, it was that week. Come back from World Club Challenge, Grand Final, come down, all that sort of stuff. Since then, they haven't taken on a big team till this one, and they gave it their all. We mentioned Kurt Capewell was injured early on. Definitely could have made a difference. He was out there for the whole game. And I've got to say, well done to Penrith. You've begun to turn my head on what you guys can do as a team. Stephen Crichton was kept pretty quiet. James Fisher-Harris, for his standards, was quiet, but still had a big game. Really like what I saw out of Coruscant again. Cleary looked quite good. I still think really fun. Like, it was, the first half just flew by. It was so quick.
I still think they're missing something. And I think it was quite telling that they had Burton on for the last 20 minutes of the game instead of Luai.
When you talk about Wonga Blake being the individual brilliance on Parramatta, Gutherson got through a couple of times. So where's the individual brilliance from Penrith? Who's the player that they go to break a game?
Well, it's kick-out, and they done a really good job on kick-out.
Yeah,
that's the player they go to when they need something. And, why not? He got this massive dude on the edge. You could pass, you could step, you could hard to tackle.
He went in early, didn't he? His step inside was bloody.
Yeah. So
movement that he has.
The only problem with that is I think Penrith rely on him too much, which is I think that's a bad thing because Parramatta flew that much traffic at him on the weekend that he was kind of nullified in that way. He's still able to cause a few dents, but I think they've got to shut him down. Hide him a little bit more so he gets more value in attack.
Yeah, so
I know that's hard.
Pick and choose their moments a bit more.
Yeah, I know that's hard as a second role because you're supposed to do work, but I really do think that with how damaging he is, they need to use his skills a bit better and put it. Yeah, I don't know what they got to do, but
I see what you're saying.
Stop going to him every single time.
If you look at the timeline of this match, Penrith are up 10-0 at halftime, and all of Parramatta's points came within a 6-minute burst. Yeah. Scoring their first try at 61 minutes, their last try at 67 minutes, and one in the middle at 64. Ryan Madison just looking brilliant.
I still think he can do better.
Yeah, he can. He doesn't need to at the moment, though. He's playing with the teams. They're playing as a team generally, and Mansour with another big night. So
And Mitchell Moses,
matter on top.
But Mitchell Moses pretty well cemented it. If he stays with this form, we're playing for New South Wales at the end of the year.
Yeah, he again didn't have to do a huge amount. I still think he got 50-ish points for fantasy with no try.
Yeah.
I think the try assist. But yeah, Parramatta's 5-0 for the first time since, what'd they say, like 80s or something? 82,
and they won the grand final then too.
Yeah, that's like I said, their only enemy at the moment would be themselves because they're looking pretty damn hard to beat.
Yeah, it'd be a great test for them this weekend. It'd be a great game to go up against the quality of the Roosters.
And just talking about the Roosters, a couple of uncharacteristic errors in this second half. 17 minutes score.
Yeah, and the only probably knock against Parramatta, it's not that big of a knock anyway because the quality of they've played against the Bulldogs, they've played against Gold Coast, Broncos when they're in their form slump. They beat Manly, and that was a good game, and they beat Penrith. So these last two games have probably been their biggest test. They have come up to win, but it'd be very interesting this weekend.
Okay. All right, moving on to our first Saturday game, which is the Rabbitohs and the Titans down in Sydney. As close to the Rabbitohs have come to full strength, James Roberts was ruled out. He was named earlier in the week on the reserve. Didn't end up playing. Braden Burns kept his position in the centres. But apart from that, I think Rabbitohs were full strength.
And look
again with a lineup that's yet to be fully settled, but is getting closer. With Fodawaker having another good game for the Titans. He's just in damn good form now. I'm just having a look at Tonema P. It's pretty similar team to last week. Yeah, but I watched the first half of this one. I didn't catch the second half, but Rabbitohs just got out to such a quick start. Both teams kind of did, actually. 3 minutes, 7 minute, 11 minutes, 16 minute for the tries. But it was just a pile of points from the Rabbitohs early on and didn't really let the Titans get into this one.
Yeah, Latrell Mitchell finally shown what he could do. He's just got to prove that he can do it week in, week out. He's got some amazing
He's looked better the last 3 weeks. Every week he's looked better.
Yeah, and that's what we said. We'd have to wait for the end of the year to really judge where he is. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's the biggest thing that came out of this game. Latrell Mitchell pretty well dominated. Gold Coast really did fire a shot in the second half. But the quality in South Sydney though is a lot higher than it is in Gold Coast, so the win's kind of expected.
Yeah.
But good on South Sydney for. I think the biggest knock on South Sydney probably would be lately is their attitude of coming up against the good teams. They really step up. When they come up against the bad teams, they kind of walk in, think they're going to win already. And a lot of bad teams probably, well, what they consider bad teams probably come back against them and give them closer games than it should be. So good on them for putting the sword to Titans this weekend. And for Gold Coast, just keep chopping and changing the team and see how they go, really. That's all you can say for them. There's not that much.
It's the third week in a row that Tyron Roberts has been named and not played. And now you've got Corey Thompson coming up.
Yep.
I don't know. It just seems like the Titans' backline just have a lot of guys who do a similar thing.
Yeah.
And just do a similar thing. Like, you look at Thompson, you look at Tyron Roberts, you look at Philip Sammy, you look at who's the other one? Tyrone Peachy. All these guys that can play multiple positions. Which position's the best position for each player, and which one will serve the best for the whole team? That's something Holbrook needs to work out.
And that's what I think he's doing by chopping and changing. But you know what I thought of? Everyone you mentioned would be a small outside back.
Yeah, they're all small.
Yeah, so which probably they probably need a big outside back just to throw in there.
Do they still have Jonas Pearson, or where did he go?
I think they still got him. but he might be injured. I'm not sure.
He's been all over the shop. I can't even keep track of where he's at.
Yeah, they just need someone big. They just need someone to. Geez, you are far behind. I'm already
again.
Yeah. I'm already up to. They just put the kick on the fifth and last of the set after that.
Yeah.
So Gold Coast, I think this year is going to be a try year for Justin Holbrook, and I think the hierarchy at the Gold Coast know that, so he's going to be chopping and changing a lot just to find out what's best for him. And I feel like he's an attitude coach that if you bring the right attitude, no matter the score, you're going to keep your spot. So it just depends what players want to be there and what players don't. Really? Do
you reckon Dane Gagai's body clock's kind of saying it's coming up to Origin time? He got a double and actually looked like he was in the game this week.
Yeah, so do you reckon that he plays around June, July?
Yeah, someone's got to break the news to him that Origin's not till the end of the year. So
well, that's good for me because he won't
your form, Dane. Save your form, mate. You got another 10 or so weeks before you can start playing well, all right? just chill. Reynolds had his kicking boots on, 6 from 6. Yeah, it was just a bit more of a complete performance from the Rabbits. However, one thing they still might want to be looking at is possession rates. So 53% of possession was for the Titans. They had an extra 3.5 minutes of the ball. In saying that, they completed at 77%, whereas the Rabbitohs completed at 85%. So it's quite funny, like, Titans had possession for 6% more of the match, but actually had less sets with the ball, 39-40.
That's just quality of the teams, really. Like,
and it's showing the Rabbitohs are getting through their sets quicker. So,
yeah, and it showed that when there was an opportunity for South Sydney, they took it.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
All right, so that was the first one on Saturday. Do you want to go? You take the lead on this one. The Storm up at Central Coast.
Okay, so the score was 26-12. What can I say about it? I think the Storm showed that they can play Newcastle's game better than Newcastle can. So Newcastle have been playing this very simple, grinding football. Who's been the king of that for the last, 15 years? Melbourne have. Yeah. So they beat Newcastle at their own game, which I'm not overly mad about. They were just a better team on the day. There's you complain about this call, like there's a few calls that could have gone either way. I don't agree with the Bradman Best try. That was a knock on for me. So yeah, I think that's the best thing to say about it. Melbourne were just the better team that day, and they did better at Newcastle than Newcastle. Melbourne also really peppered Mitchell Pearce. He made a lot more tackles than usual, which really nullified his attack, which is probably really smart because he's their focal point of attack. So he's their main kicker, he's their main playmaker, and when he's tired, didn't really help Newcastle. I'm just hoping that next week, because we're never going to keep winning. No team can.
Yeah.
I just hope next week that you know how we talked about a couple of weeks ago when Melbourne got beaten, that maybe they're going to come out the next week and really dominate someone.
Yeah.
I really hope Newcastle can have the right attitude and go out and dominate someone.
Do that. One thing Newcastle can take away from if you're just looking at this game and look at the score, it looks like Storm was in charge the whole time. Storm were up 18-2 at half time. And then they didn't score another point till the 74th minute. Yeah. So Newcastle kept them scoreless for 34 minutes in the second half until Cameron Smith got a penalty goal, which took it to... So it was 18-2 at half time. Newcastle brought it back to 18-12. And then Storm got a penalty and then a very late try, which blew it out to 20. They got a try on 76 minutes to Brandon Smith, which was just pure grit, determination, and leg drive from...
Yeah, so that's all I can really hope for in that game. I will point out this, though, and I'm pretty concerned about this, actually. I know 2 years are different, the last year we won 6 in a row. We came up against Melbourne, got beaten 34-6. That was round 16. We won one game between that and the end of the season.
Yeah, but I remember that game. That was like here comes the Knights. They're a dark horse, rah. But I remember that because Manly was around a similar position to you guys.
Yeah.
And then Melbourne just went, you're a finals team. We'll show you what a finals team looks like. And
exactly
demolished you guys.
And a lot of people
demolition.
Yeah. No. So a lot. Well, like I said, we'll just wait till Thursday night, really, to see how Newcastle react to something like that, because that's the only way.
Who are the Knights got Thursday night?
Broncos. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. Broncos are missing a few, I will admit, but it just all comes back to
Pangai back, I think.
Yeah, they get Pangai back. So it'll just all come back to how Newcastle react to a loss. Are they the team that everyone's been talking about, or are they the same team as usual? And this is what it is. Really find out.
Bradman Best continues to do his thing, and I think Fittler's come out, not to put any pressure on the kid, but that he's in Origin talk already. So
right.
I don't think that's the best. I know Fittler knows what he's doing, I guess, but I probably wouldn't be throwing that out there as the
but that's the thing. Pressure. As soon as someone does well, and Brad, he has scored, I think, four or five tries this season alone already after 3 games. But as soon as someone does well, they go, Origin. I play for Origin.
The only reason I put stock in is that he's the coach. He's
I know.
The media person.
But I guarantee
even that.
I guarantee you, because Fittler's in a lot of media shows. He's on Channel 9, I think, 4 times a week, right?
Yeah,
I guarantee you someone went, hey, what do you reckon about Best in Origin? And he's not going to say no. He's going to go, oh, yeah, I'm thinking about it. I've coached him in the juniors, this, that, and the other. You know what I mean?
Say, he's playing. Yeah, obviously his form warrants the conversation, but we've also got Tom Drabojevic and Jack White, and neither of them will lose a spot. That's pretty much.
I know. It's just calm down, guys. Just relax. It would have been good to see him up against Stags on Thursday night. It would have been really good. That would have been a great 2 great young centres going up against
Stags still may be there, but the Bulldogs are in, and that was actually a nice try, Kieran Foran.
Yeah. So
supporting on the inside, half.
I think the bottom line is, despite all the shit that's going on with this Newcastle game, Melbourne were easily the better team. Newcastle got a bit of a schooling, and we'll see how they react next week.
I think the schooling was just in game management, because even the Storm got out to their lead and managed it, and even when Newcastle were fighting back, Storm didn't look flustered. They never do. Now, the last game on Saturday was out at Campbelltown, West Tigers and the Raiders. Now, this was wasn't the most exciting game in the world, but I quite enjoyed it. It was a very decent arm wrestle for the whole first 15 minutes, basically. It was just one team looked like they were getting an edge. The other team looked like they were getting the edge. It kind of just went back and forth. Luke Brooks had a breakthrough with his pace, sweeping around off it was a crossfield kick. It got knocked forward, I believe, like Curtis Scott, who had a shocker of a first half.
He has not, other than probably the Melbourne game where we both agreed he was being a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
Coming against his old squad. He hasn't played well all year, because he got beaten by, he got beaten by Best. He got beaten on the weekend. I can't remember who he got beaten. And he got beaten in another game he's played this year as well.
He's kind of like the opposite of Melbourne, where players go down there and get better. He was playing Melbourne's system and has gone.
He started really strong, but then he just Tedesco just scored. That is freak.
Another one. Is that a hat trick?
Yeah, no,
or double.
I think it's a hat trick. You just wait till you see this try. It is unfair. He's been beaten a few times, and I think they lost a lot. Oh, sorry. Not really against Leilua, but they lost. I think they could have bought better, I reckon.
Yeah, so do I. He's not going to score a try off his own bat, I don't think.
No.
And when you've got Jared Croker on the other side, who's similar but much more consistent, Like Lua and Parramatta next to each other. That was their X factor. They could score from almost anywhere. Whereas, yeah,
But yeah, so for this game, I really like. I actually thought that Tigers were going to get it. Actually, at one point, don't forget that no one's kept Raiders scoreless in the first 20 minutes or something like that. I think that was a stat. They know he kept them scoreless in the whole first half.
They did.
Jack Wyden didn't score to the 49. Oh, no, 49. Yeah.
It was 4-0 at half time.
Yeah, so that was
arm wrestle. The whole first half was just neither team could get on top, and Luke Brooks scored a try from a tap down off a kick, and he just swept behind and just had pace.
Yeah.
So
Michael Maguire's putting a bit of steel in that team.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting what happens this week. I'm assuming he's going to go with Reynolds again. But
he looked all right. I think it came out Marshall's demotion was due to his allowed the most missed tackles in the whole league.
Yeah.
That's led to the most amount of tries and the most amount of line breaks due to his individual defense.
Which Maguire is massive on. So because I didn't know that stat last week.
Yeah, me neither.
I think this is the best start. I would have put another centre in there and put Mbai into 6. I don't know. But
I still don't get Mbai in centres. He's a completely different player to what he was with Bulldogs. It's like,
I think it's just the rule where you need to find him a spot. I think that's the difference. And I think they need to put him in there just because he does bring quality, but they're just like there's certain players that are better. But I'd like to see Brooks and Mbai in the halves.
Yeah, I think that's.
I reckon they look pretty. Yeah, I reckon they look good. But I will admit he had his chance everywhere else in the team. He's played hooker, he's played lock coming off the bench, he's played fullback, he's played halfback, he's played 5'8", now he's playing in the centre. So he had his chance. Right now, considering the team Tigers have, I'm not going to argue with Maguire because he's brought a lot of the team looks pretty good sometimes in patches. So yeah. Maguire can do what he wants.
How was Jack Whiten's performance? I think one of the stats in the first half was he scores a try on every 7 of his runs.
Really?
Yeah. Because he doesn't run the ball as much now. But yeah, he scores a try on every 7 of his runs. So he got elbowed in the eye in this game, and man, it shined up so quick. And there was a point where he just looked like he'd been in a boxing match. And then when he did the post-match report, man, he looked horrible. So they're still waiting to see whether he'll be playing next week. That's got to
doesn't look too flash as is.
No, I couldn't. I'm surprised he could even see where he was going. And the Raiders just ground this one out, and similar to Manly, they went at their best, but Tigers put up a better 80-minute performance than the Broncos did, even though they only got 6 points against the Raiders. And congratulations to Ricky Stewart in his 400th game as coach in the NRL. So a win on his 400th game. Tell you what, Ryan Sutton, first game of the season, came out first shot, was huge. Great first hit. And another thing, Papali and Andrew Fafita in their time off must have just bought a restaurant and eaten that thing out. Papali has put on 10 kilos of fat. He just looks huge, and yet he still played 60 something minutes and played the entire first half. So he must have some of the best aerobic endurance because he did not look fit. He literally looks like a putting on legs, and he is just going as hard as he ever does. I don't know how the hell he's doing it, but kudos to him because, holy crap, 58 minutes he ended up playing. I swear he played almost the whole first 40.
And I'd like to do a shout out to a guy who's ended his career. Russell Packer will not play the NRL again.
You reckon?
Oh, come on. Oh, okay, he might not play. He might play for the NRL again, but he will not, and I say will not play for the Tigers again. He was already not Michael Maguire was not a fan of him originally.
Yeah.
And then he brought him in, and what did he get Simbi in after, 5 minutes?
54 minutes.
He played 54 minutes?
Yeah, no, he did start.
So, yeah, he got Simbi in after a ridiculously stupid high shot. I don't think you're going to see him in the squad anytime soon.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, but he was in the squad this week when he didn't have to be because they've got enough young forwards who could have taken that spot. So he was in there for
but I reckon Maguire threw him a shot, mate. You got to go out there and play well and you'll keep your spot. And, well, he did. He did not.
We'll go with that. And then this game, Sunday afternoon, news came through Saturday night. I think it was that the Canterbury and the Roosters game was going to be postponed till Monday night due to a COVID-19 scare at a school where Aiden Tolman's daughter goes to. One of the teachers there had a positive test for COVID. And, of course, they didn't know when the teacher had got it, so every kid that had been in proximity to her had to get tested. Therefore, Aiden Tolman had to get tested. All the Bulldogs players had to get tested. His test came back negative. All the Bulldogs team came back negative. However, Aiden Tolman is in quarantine for 14 days anyway, where the rest of the Bulldogs are now able to play, which is kind of I don't know.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Bulldogs just got to cop it on the chin and move forward. That's the world we're in at the moment.
I know it's super unfortunate, but in saying that too, that was one of the things they agreed to when they
you look at today's
to come
last
back
week with the Roosters temperature in the morning. You could have been fine by 10 o'clock, but that's just what we're doing. So anyway, that left us one game on Sunday afternoon. The Sharks and the Dragons played at the 4 o'clock time slot. Local derby between these two.
I would like to put it on record that I called it.
Yes, all right. I tell you what, man, I had my two kids were going nuts by this stage on a Sunday. I thoroughly enjoyed watching this game. It wasn't the highest of quality, but it was exciting to watch. And Mary McGregor pulled some selection changes.
No, it wasn't him.
Yeah, and after the game, I think it was today, it's now come out that as part of that emergency meeting that the Dragons called throughout the week to sort out McGregor's career, it was put in place that they've got a selection committee now picking the team each week. Now, it's himself, Shane Flanagan, Dean Young, and the head of football, or the manager, of football operations, what's his name? I've got it here, Ben Horan, picking the team. So it's kind of like a vote for players, basically. And my first thought was, can you imagine going to like Hasler or Bellamy or Trent Robinson saying, it's a couple in a row. We don't reckon you can pick your team properly. We're going to put a committee in there. I'd love to see that happen. So Matt Duffy got voted back into a starting spot and played pretty damn well. 197 metres, a try assist, a try disallowed. I think Wally came out and said, but that's his first game back, and he always plays well first game, and then he'll go downhill. Ben Hunt starting off the bench, coming on as dummy half, with Cam McInnes going to lock. I love that. I don't care if Ben Hunt's getting paid. If he can do that off the bench every week.
That was my point. I actually said that a few weeks ago. I'd love to see Hunt go to 9 and Cameron McInnes go to hooker. A lot of Dragons supporters...
9 and a hooker would be good.
Yeah. Lock, yeah. I've actually had a look at a few of the Dragons' Facebook pages, and a few people blowing up about the fact that how much money Hunt's on, and the fact he's playing he's an Origin player, and the fact he's coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Look, mate, if he's a better bench player than he is a halfback, and he can put that performance in every single week, why the fuck not?
Yeah,
I'd pay a lot of money. I'll pay a lot of... What did you get, a try and a try assist or something? I pay a lot of money for someone to come off the bench and do that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's people got to start realizing that just because you're on the bench doesn't mean you shouldn't be paid a lot. Like, you're still playing NRL.
If you're exactly, and what else? Like, if it's good enough for Queensland, it should be good enough for a club side. And
yeah,
I think it was Andrew Johns. I think it was Andrew Johns who was commentating. I don't usually listen to Channel 9 commentary. Was saying that he's got no pressure coming off the bench. He can play at hooker and play at his own pace. If he sees an opportunity, he can go. He doesn't have to worry about organising everybody. And he can just play his natural running game. And he's always looked good for Queensland as an origin, as a utility. And I think the Dragons look very balanced. They made bad decisions and bad lines and dropped balls as they've been doing. Zach Lomax has found his position at right centre. They're not going to move him from there. He's a threat under the high ball. He gets the ball early. Dufty getting a roving role.
Yep.
I think even though he got a double, could be on the chopping block for next week because of some of his defensive reads and mistakes, especially under the high ball, with Jason Saab through the week asking for 2 releases after getting his first one knocked back. I wouldn't be surprised there. I like Trent Merrin starting at lock. He offered some offloads. Yeah. Graham coming off the bench for the first time since 2016, I think the call was.
I don't mind that either.
Yeah, I think they just look more balanced.
Yeah.
Communication errors cost them a couple of tries, and that's gonna happen with constantly shifting and changing. But I think this is a situation where they've got to keep it as is. As for the Sharks, like, we probably should have seen this last week. They beat the Cowboys, but they weren't real flash up there, as the Cowboys weren't either. Maween Hiroti looked pretty good in his Sharks debut. Sione Katoa getting over again, and Wade Graham doing his thing. I didn't really like John Morris calling out Will Kennedy in the post-match press conference.
Did he?
Saying,
he said that.
There's points we left out there. If Will Kennedy had gone left instead of right, there's another 6 points. If we'd done this is another.
So that means he's going to get dropped next week.
I know. I just don't. It's pretty much like after a loss, calling out your player at a press conference saying they made a bad decision, could have cost us the game.
Yeah.
It's pretty big for a young player. And
like a lot of
nice.
Like the more experienced coaches will not do that. They'll handle their shit behind closed doors, and if he did that, that's well and truly wrong.
Yeah, I didn't really like that. It's Brissett was honest. Like he said, Dragons just wanted it for longer than we did. We just didn't play up the standard. They didn't, and it was just an entertaining game. I just loved watching it.
Have you actually
40-6,
42-6? Did you actually see
Morris?
Yeah, it's a good try.
Try assist 203 meters.
Did you actually have you seen Adam Clune's resume?
No.
So get this: he's currently the halfback for St.George, right?
Yeah.
He has a double degree in law and economics.
Yeah.
He is the guy who does all the books for the Players Association. So he's super smart. He's a halfback for St. George. So essentially, playing rugby league professionally is a hobby for him because he's
book smart but not street smart.
It doesn't matter if you're book smart. He's going to be one of those guys who's set after football. He's one of the few.
Like Brent Kite's a lawyer, and he was a bloody
So it's I reckon that's great, and he does all the books for the Players Association, and
that's pretty.
He just loves playing footy. So when you think about it, he doesn't have to play football right now. He doesn't have to show the effort he showed. He's set. He just does it for the love.
So we got Mary McGregor's got another 3 weeks. He's now part of a selection committee where they're voting on a squad. So if he puts out 1 to 17 next week, and they say, "Nah, we're going to cut this guy, this guy, this guy," what's it going to do with his credibility and, I guess, respect with the players will be interesting. I still say Jason Saab's probably going to get a run next week. just to show that, you are. He's come out and said that he's part of the club's future, etc., etc. Tristan Saylor supposedly has already asked for a release, and McGregor said that was all just media talk.
And Isaac Luke's gone already.
Isaac Luke's gone. Isaac Luke's also got family up in Queensland, so they've had 2 wins on a trot, but it kind of hasn't stopped a bit of the rumblings that have happened down there. So it'll be interesting to see moving forward. I'm just having a look at who Dragons have got next week. All right, they got Titans up at Suncorp, so definitely a winnable game. 15-16. It could be a very open game. And Shark, who are sitting at 1-4, have got the Bulldogs, who are sitting at 1-4. Jesus. So you've pretty much got 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th are all versing each other.
That's
one's
two
the
games
6:30 game on the Sunday night, and one's a 3 o'clock. Okay, so they're not in like prime time slots, which is good. Actually, looking ahead to next week, there's no real. I guess
no real
games here. I guess Penrith and Storm and Roosters and there you go. Eagles and Raiders. Okay, so you've got 2nd versus 6th, 7th versus 1st.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Roosters versus Parrot.
So the top 6 are all versing each other, except if you swap out Knights and Roosters. All right, so that's 7-hour games. I guess we can do the 8th game. Roosters have just had a training run against the Bulldogs.
What can you say about this game? Like, really?
Brett Morris, as a winger, had better halfback stats than half of the halfbacks this week.
Oh my God.
They're looking at Orbison came back this week on the bench. Bulldogs had a couple of scratches with Aiden Tolman, Jake Averillo. Changed before the game. They wouldn't have
done anything
difference on the scoreboard, but nothing much. That's just another wiping for the Roosters. They're for and against is going to be looking pretty good right now.
Oh my God.
I think that's about it. So if we have a look at what were you going to say there, Joe?
They're just currently showing James Tedesco highlights, and he. I don't think he's up this. I don't think he's Slater level yet.
No.
But holy shit,
Slater was doing this stuff for
15 years.
Yeah.
So he's an absolute freak, and the Bulldogs probably gave him a few more credits than he actually is. But
so that puts the Roosters. The Roosters are up into 6th now. So looking at the ladder at the end of round 5, we've got Parramatta on top 5 and on 10 points. You got Raiders and Storm sitting second on 8 points with 4 wins.
Hey, what? Bloody Storm was snuck in there. Like, they've had a few criticism. They're sitting on 4.
That's hence the reason why they're such a good team. They're playing 60% of what they can do, and they've won 4 out of 5.
Let's hold up for a second.
Yeah.
Let's hold up for. So I'm watching the after game, and it's got Trent Robinson talking to the Roosters team.
Yeah.
And he's got them all sitting there, and he's kind of acting like he's not happy with them. And that's just what the Roosters are right there. They won 42-6. He's probably yelling at them to let them score a try. He's pretty... Yeah, his standards will be that high. He's ripping them after a bloody 36-point win.
Oh, and this is a time... Oh, man. Looking at this round table afterwards, you've got Paul Kent, Ben Ike, and Buzz Rothfield, and Matty Johns. And I'd say Matty Johns is the best footy brain out of those 4.
I really like Matty Johns' footy brain. I really rate it high.
I think Rothfield's at this point is just like that clapping monkey that sits inside Homer Simpson's head.
Okay, so 1 to 4.
We got Knights and Panthers are tied on 4th due to their draw. So they're on 7 points, 3 wins, a draw, and a loss. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams after round 5 still undefeated. Roosters on the back of 3 wins.
No, they've all lost a game. Undefeated.
Oh, sorry.
Only one team
lost.
only.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. I was looking at the buys column because I'd scrolled down. I couldn't see the headings. Yeah, that's right. 3 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss. Then I said they're undefeated. Freaking idiot. Roosters on the back of 3 wins and out to 6 points, time with Manly in position 6th and 7th. Their for and against is looking pretty damn good. And Cowboys are on out the top 8 on 4 points, which is tied with West Tigers, Rabbitohs, Warriors, and Broncos. And Sharks, Dragons, Bulldogs, Titans bringing up the bottom on 2 points. Just looking at that for and against differential. Wow. Roosters are sitting 6th and their points differential is already 104.
Yeah.
Tied with, yeah, whereas Manly's is 12 and they're on 4 points. Eels are at 3. So I guess that brings us to the end of our round 5 wrap. However, just to finish off, they did crown that greatest team of the last 30 years in the NRL. Their newest poll at the moment is hardest hitter of the last, what time frame did they give it?
I think it's since 97.
Yeah, it's a pretty good lineup of players. What do we got? Right, narrow down just to 10. Oh, geez. Yeah, some big ones not on here, including Harrigan, Carroll, Mark Geyer, Solomon Homono, Ben Teo, Dylan Napa, or Wade Graham. But your top 10, or the 10 that they've given at the moment, Sam Burgess, Tony Carroll, David Gillespie, Trevor Gilmeister, Steve Maddai, Adrian Morley, Nigel Plum, Ian Roberts, George Tafua, Sonny Bill Williams. They're your 10.
Oh, I'm going Morley.
You're going Morley. Morley is tied last on 5% with Ian Roberts.
I watched highlights with him the other week. Holy shit.
Shitty good hit. I'm not surprised with first. I'm surprised with second. I think that's recency bias.
Who's first?
First is 12% in front. Sorry, 11% in front, which is Steve Maddai on 25%.
Who's second? Sam
George
Burgess?
Tafua on 14%.
No.
The recency bias there.
I don't reckon Steve Maddai would be even up there. I don't reckon he'd be number 1, at least.
He's killing him.
Yeah, I know. I don't think he'd be number 1. I think you'd have to have someone probably like Gilmeister or Carroll because they had the technique plus the.
Well, it's not. It's It's the hardest hitter. That's what it's for.
Yeah, so they had the technique plus they could hit really fucking hard.
That's true. Sonny Bill's at 13%, and then Gilmeister and Gillespie are at 11 and 10.
Yeah.
I thought Burgess would be up a bit higher than that, but yeah, that's an interesting poll to look at. So that's our round 5 wrap. It's going to be a quick turnaround before our week 6 preview. Some interesting matchups coming up. And again, thank you to all those who are supporting us. We're up over 1,200 downloads now, which is amazing. Our listenership is growing, especially out of the UK, New Zealand. I picked up a Pakistani mate through Twitter who's a Warriors fan. I said, look, mate, you got a bit of time, jump on and have a listen to the podcast. And he's jumped on and really liked it. So hello, Usman. Thank you for jumping on, buddy. Hope you enjoy it. And, continue to like, share, get it out there. Followers is cool and everything. We just want to be sharing the love for rugby league that we've got with as many people. And we can only do that if you guys help us out. So a big thank you from Jared and myself. And we'll chat to you guys Thursday morning.
See yous.
Bye.